Mike Schmitz, ESPN NBA draft analyst, joins us now. And by the way, give him credit for making the call a couple weeks ago on this show. Maybe LaMelo would be playing there. He is now. So let me ask you, Mike, his goal is to go number one. How does playing in the NBL impact that dream?
He's really going to be tested. I mean, you can't knock him for having that goal, but he's a player that scouts aren't really all that familiar with, just given kind of the path he's taken until this point, pulling out of high school, going to play in Lithuania. He never played USA Basketball, and that's really where a lot of these NBA scouts see these players at a young age. So his resume is fairly blank, and he has a lot of questions to answer. But in terms of being tougher, playing in a professional environment, playing against pros, that's going to make him better. I'm just interested to see how he's going to handle any adversity that he faces. But he's a big-time talent, there's no question.
I also mentioned in that interview that he would have time, given the fact that the season ends around March. It helps him for the draft process. He can come back, get familiar with people. You mentioned that it might cause problems being down there, but is that all resolved by the fact that he gets back in time to play in front of everyone?
Yeah, and I think, listen, with R.J. Hampton down there, he's going to be seen, right? Scouts are going to go down there. They're going to want to see those guys play against each other. They're going to go to practices. They're going to go to games. They're going to do their intel. There's a lot of Americans playing down in that league. So I think teams will finally get a real evaluation of him. That's been hard to get up into this point just because, Lithuania was a little bit of a circus with that club. And then, like I said, the unique path he's taken to get to this point. So, I think there are certainly benefits to going this route in either way compared to college.
Let's talk about style of play. How different is it playing in the NBL versus playing in college, for example?
It's grown men. I think that's the main point here is that he's playing against guys who are fighting for their livelihood. They're fighting for their next contract. They're fighting to put food on their table for their family. But in terms of, style, I think it's a little bit more up and down. It's a little bit of a faster pace. The number of games is actually very similar. You're looking at 30 to potentially 35, depending on how deep you go in the playoffs. And then, like you said, the time frame is really beneficial. So, it's a guard-dominant league. I think we've seen guys like Melo Trimble, Jerome Randall, college guards who had a lot of success in the NCAA now come over to Australia and have that similar success. So I think he's going to have opportunities to really show out with the ball in his hands.
And you mentioned this about him on Twitter. You said he has a lot of bad habits to squash on both ends, but he's not short on talent. So when you say you're playing against grown men who are trying to make a living, how much does the NBL give him an opportunity to work on some of those bad habits when you got guys who are really playing for their livelihoods and don't want to give up time to somebody who's learning?
Yeah, he's going to be tested. Like I said, there's no doubt about that. I mean, if you go to the college level, right, and you're the star recruit, sometimes there's a little bit more of a leash. Here, he's going to have to play. He's going to have to play well. He's going to have to defend. He's going to have to do some of the things that he hasn't really done before. He's going to be held accountable. He's going to play in structure for the first time. And for his personal growth, I think it's going to be good just because he's not playing in a huge city. This city is 50 miles south of Sydney. It's a little bit off the beaten path. And again, he's going to be tested time and time again, game in and game out. So we'll see if he folds. But from a talent perspective, his basketball IQ, his feel, his positional size, all high level. And really what teams look for in a lottery pick just needs to answer those questions this coming season.
Of course, the big difference between a guy playing in college and a guy playing in NBL is the money. Do you have any sense of what kind of money he could make from this opportunity?
Yeah, I don't have the exact figure. I just hope that they approach this in a different sense than they did Lithuania, right? I hope that the BBB cameras aren't all over the place and that it's not a reality show type of setting. I hope that this is an opportunity for LaMelo Ball to go and focus strictly on basketball. There is the social media part of it, sure. There's the marketing. I think he's a huge name. Obviously, I think that's going to draw attention to the NBL. That's certainly a perk. But I just hope that they really approach this seriously in terms of let's get better at basketball and let's improve and worry less about the other things.
Yeah, get rid of the sideshow, make it about basketball. Right you are. Mike, thank you.